We're here today with Lindsay Burer. She is an equine nutrition consultant for Bluebonnet Feeds. And we just made a switch over. We changed our feeding program. We feed 2 of their different products, but we want to talk a little bit today about why I chose these feeds, how to read a label on a feed, and just some other things specific to Bluebonnet that we want to bring to our viewers, because they're not listeners now, they're viewers.
We'll also have a podcast.
Oh, we're going to also have a podcast with her in case you prefer to listen to us jab. But Lindsay's here today to educate us a little bit. We have a large variety of horses here, from pregnant mamas to, open pro rodeo horses. So there's a big variety in our program. We have babies of different ages, some that are in training, some that aren't. So she came and evaluated our program, also evaluated some specific horses that I had some concerns with. And then we decided to go with 2 different feeds, growth and development for those that I don't ride, and everything that is rideable or is in training, whether they run or not, gets omega 4s.
Kind of like when I came out here, I want to see what you guys see. So everyone has their own idea of what looks good or what looks bad. And so what we did with you is we just drove around to each of the different horses and we talked about them. What do you like about them? What don't you like about them? What does their current program look like? Any kind of issues that you're having? Sometimes we'll put our hands on them, try to body condition score, see, are they a little bit heavy? That can help us determine, what specifically kind of feed that we're looking for. We went with the omega 4s because we were trying to get something that was really fortified, that had all of the key nutrients that are designed for performance horses, to try to avoid supplementing except when necessary. So joint or lung or something that we can really target specifically and elevate. And so it has everything in it. The other reason that I really like the omega 4s for performance horses is because it allows us to feed a little bit smaller volumes of feed and get more out of it, so that the horse, we can give them more forage, which is how they're designed to eat. So that way we can get all those trace minerals. So it has really high elevated levels of organic trace minerals, which are more absorbable and usable by the horse. And then also the digestive support components, so the probiotics, the prebiotics, those are going to be more elevated in these Intensify lines of feed. So that was kind of the reason why we went that way for the performance horses, was to give them everything that they need in one bag to keep it simple for you guys, but still provide the nutrition to compete at the level that you're looking to compete at.
Well, and we also looked at the NSC. There's a couple horses that are in my program that, one that's tied up previously, and I have a couple that are really muscle bound, so they're more susceptible to having tight muscles or tying up. And so the NSC in this was something that I liked also, and having no issues with those horses. They're moving out great. They're no symptoms. They're doing better, actually. So I've seen a huge improvement in everything that I've put the omega 4s on. They eat it really well. Their coats have changed. Hooves are growing wonderfully. Like I said, really focused. Nothing got hot on the feed, which is always a concern with younger horses,
Sure.
Making a change. So I'm really kind of over the moon and really excited to see in the future what kind of changes it's going to make long term. Kind of a bulk of my feed program tends to be those that we don't ride. And so I know the nutritional demands of those horses are very different, but you can tell us a little bit about the growth and development line.
Yeah, so we went with this one for the group of the brood mares, the
Right.
babies, the young horses, because we're really trying to make sure that we're feeding the mare to then feed the baby when it's
Right.
in utero. And so a couple of things that are unique about this: we've got the really elevated levels of protein with the amino acid profile to help with development. The copper, zinc, manganese is elevated in this as well, again, to help with the bone development. And the non-structural carbohydrates, the NSEs, are actually really low in this as well. And what they've been finding is that NSEs can actually be linked to developmental disorders in babies. And so kind of goes back to if we can feed the mare right, we feed the baby right, and then we're setting the baby up for success down the road.
Absolutely.
And so kind of all of those things together are really what helped make that decision to pick this product for that part of your program.
Right. So, I mean, you have to remember that whatever you put in them from conception determines what they're going to be like down the road. What is that horse going to have some, I'm actually interested to see with the difference is in technology today and in all of the studies that have said lower carbohydrates, lower sugars. There's so many horses these days that have a lot of the conditions. I'm interested to see if down the road that research changes a lot of the problems we're having with horses today. Bleeding, ulcers,
Right.
tying up, all of those conditions that have become really more prevalent in our industry later. But I want to try to make the difference from the inside out. And so I'm really excited about this feed. I'm excited about the babies that are being carried right now, because they will truly be the first ones that hit the ground. So that's like a 5-year investment for me. Because they're not even on here yet. But I will be very interested to see if those horses, long term, 10 years down the road, what they're like and how this affects them through their entire career. And I have so much invested in this program. This program makes my living. And there's so much from picking a stud to getting the mare bred and getting them of age to finally be broke and rode, and then going through the training and then finally making it to the arena. This is just one piece of the puzzle that I think sometimes gets highly overlooked, that all of those things that we mentioned, all of the hurdles you have to go over to get a baby from conception to in the arena is directly affected by the choice you make and what to put into that mare.
Sure.
From the time she's pregnant. So I'm really excited about this being a really big key change to the program. And like I said, it's not that the mares haven't had fabulous nutrition and I don't put great babies on the ground, but I'm interested to see the differences in the babies and that this added to my program. It just